Hey guys, quick disclaimer. The Nosy Hens podcast talks about content that is not suitable for children and might bring you some discomfort too. This includes violence and abuse of all kinds, strong language, and graphic descriptions. Listener discretion is advised. I hope y'all ain't hear that rumble that just came from the gut up through to my chest. Came out my throat. It was a rumble.
It's the Nosy Hens podcast.
That's what it sounded like.
For Jazzy Stormy. For Jazzy Stormy.
It sounded like a bear, a big scary bear. It sounded like a bear, a big scary bear. I'm sounding like a bear, a big scary bear with a little bit of gum and some stuff up in my hair.
Hey! Where'd the gum come from?
I don't know. I miss gum. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and divulge something. I had a surgery last year, and part of that surgery is I cannot eat gum anymore because it brings air to my stomach, and
boy, that's reason 559,000.
Don't get it.
That I won't get.
Don't get it.
Okay,
you miss gum.
Cause let me tell you something. I chewed some gum so hard yesterday.
You miss you some gum
Sorry.
Y'all,
ASMR.
I do not want that ASMR up in here. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Chicken Coop.
Clucka clucka.
This is the Nosy Hens podcast. I'm one of your favorite Nosy Hens. You can call me Jazz.
I'm your other favorite nosy hen. You can call me A-Rain. And we are the two hens that like to bring you some cute, little true crime stories, sprinkled with a touch of entertainment and laughs and fun. I don't know how that goes together, but it goes in our world.
It goes, and we're tasty about it. I mean, tasty.
Tasteful.
We are tasteful about it because, well, I like to think of myself as a little tasty. No, we are tasteful about it because you know what? All we do is we roast the blank out of these criminals, and we make sure that, that we honor, we respect, and we really care and feel about the victims. So sometimes it gets uncomfortable, and sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Okay,
so there's just that element. And also, since you brought that up, because today could get a little bit uncomfortable, we are going to be talking about racial elements here today.
My fave.
And let me tell you something. The Nosy Hens, we do not condone racism of any kind.
Nope.
We hate prejudice people.
Yep. And if you that way,
hate is a strong word.
You can go ahead and look, keep this on play. Keep on listening. But go ahead and go to the next one.
Kick rocks with... Oh, no. I'm talking about the people that's racist. Yeah. Y'all can kick rocks with no socks on. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Make sure it's the sharp gravel.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, this case is about a lady named Jeanine Nicarico. Not a lady. She was a little girl. But let's just go ahead and get into it. And like I said, you guys, brace yourselves. So, Jeanine Nicarico was born on November 21st, 1972 to Tom and Pat Nicarico in the suburbs of Naperville, Illinois. And that's just about 30 miles west of Chicago. And she was described by her loved ones to be a happy, outgoing, and friendly little girl who loved playing softball, spending time with her family and friends. She was also known to be kind and generous toward others. Just a good testament to how her parents raised her. Now, her dad, Tom, he was a mechanical engineer who worked for the Argonne National Laboratory, a research facility located close to Naperville in DuPage County. And then Pam, the mom, she was a homemaker who also worked part-time as a nurse's assistant at a local hospital. Good parents, good upbringing. Yep. Just a great time to be alive for little Miss Jeanine Nicarico. She had two younger brothers. One was about 3 years younger than her, and then the other was about 7 years younger than herself. And at the time of the incident, she was attending BB Elementary School and was in the 5th grade. Just turned 10 about a few months ago. So what happened? Well, on February 25th, 1983, Jeanine had stayed home from school. She was feeling a little under the weather, and it wasn't that big of a deal. She was just not feeling well. So her mom let her stay home, and then she went ahead and left the home. She went to go run some errands. Well, around 3 p.m., Pat returned home to what looked like the front door being busted open. It had been busted open. So she goes deeper into the house, and she finds that little Jeanine is missing. Pat immediately calls the police.
Right.
And right away, the police show up to check things out, and quickly a massive search effort is launched. They get hundreds of volunteers.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, hundreds of them from the community, and they showed up to help comb the area, searching for any sign of Jeanine that very same day. Now, it wasn't until the next day that Jeanine would be found in a nearby forest preserve. So, when she was found, sadly, she was deceased. An autopsy report showed that Jeanine had died as a result of blunt head trauma and asphyxia, which is suffocation.
Yep.
So the question was, who would do something like this? You know? Well, let's talk about the investigation. Now, there was a lot to criticize about the investigation. There was mishandling of the evidence and the investigation as a whole.
The whole mishandling of evidence. What's going on?
This is your one job, is to handle evidence, investigate, and make sure things come to a close. And you ain't handling evidence.
You ain't handling, like, what happened? Is it just I forgot to do that? Well, that means you need to go back to training, and you need to be in training for at least a year before you can get out into the field if you mishandling evidence.
And
like
let me
that.
tell you something. If I know that I have a series of steps that I need to handle, and I know every case is different, so whatever, but you know there are some basic tasks that you need to do when you're investigating, I would bring a checklist with me. Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I check this? Did I do
by step.
Come on.
And I print that mug out. I make a whole bunch of copies so I don't ever forget the
steps.
And
I would be giving them to my people. To the people. If they act like they finna forget. We ain't finna forget nothing.
Right.
Okay? So, the crime scene, which was the Nicarico house, was not properly secured. All right?
Of course.
And a lot of evidence was missed, lost, or contaminated.
Of course.
My gosh. Now, there was a boot print left at the door of the house, and we'll come back to that in just a second. But another thing was, like, why did it take so long for the police to find her when Jeanine was in a wooded area near her home? Now, my opinion of that is, finding a body, a small body at that, in a wooded area can kind of feel like looking for a needle in a haystack,
right?
Because you've got maybe the wind was maybe the perpetrator covered the body up with leaves, stuff like that, so that's already hard. The wind could have scattered some elements on top of the body and stuff like that. But then also, though, like when you have those hundreds of volunteers, they link arms, or they don't link arms, but they are like in a lateral line. Yeah. So that people can make sure nothing is missed.
Right.
So,
and they make sure that no one gets lost.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people's like, well, why did it take so long to find her? Well, also too, it was just the next day. Yeah. So the investigation has started after 3 p.m. Well, we don't know. In February, it's getting dark.
Yeah. About 4 or 5 o'clock. So that first day, you have maybe like an hour and a half until nightfall. And then the next day you got to get up extra early when the sun comes up. That's if you have that many volunteers that'll get up that early and help.
Right, exactly. So let's give them a little bit of a break there. But the securing of the scene and you missing evidence and you losing it and contaminating it, there is no excuse for that. I'm sorry.
Right.
So, the police end up talking to witnesses around the area, and a neighbor of the Nicarico family initially told them that she saw a young Hispanic man in the area around the time of Jeanine's abduction. Now, another witness told police that they'd seen a 1983 Pontiac Bonneville around this time. They didn't give a color.
My thing is, if the perpetrator, you had to have seen somebody that did not live there go into the house. You had to have heard someone kick the door.
Right.
And then somebody had to have seen a person coming out with what looked like a body, whether he had her covered up, whether no one's there.
Something.
So why would you say, even if you did see someone that was Hispanic, did they have a person with them?
Right.
Did they have something slung over their shoulder?
Right.
Like, so
just alone saying, well, I saw a Hispanic man around the area.
Right, and then my next question would have been, well, did you see them with anything?
Were they doing anything suspicious?
Right. Did you see a person? Did you see them walking out with Jeanine? Did you see
Or did you just see them walking like a regular person?
Right. And did they walk into the house, or did they walk? Those, to me, are very important questions when it comes to cases like this. Before you just be like, let me go ahead and put a race on top of it.
Well, so wanting to solve this case as quickly as possible, there was a $10,000 reward for anyone who could give information that would lead to the closure of the case. Well, this attracted the attention of a young man by the name of Rolando Cruz. Cruz was a 20-year-old Hispanic man who was he had been in a gang, and he went to the police station and made up a story in hopes of collecting the reward. So instead, he collected the suspicions of the police as he matched the description of the neighbor's earlier statement.
I wonder if did they do an announcement of like, well, police say that it's a Hispanic man? Because look, if you ain't no way that I'm going to listen to the news and the news be like, police say a black man or a black woman.
He just saw that 10K on the flyer and was like,
boy, I ain't that desperate, okay? I'll go sell some tit pics before I go sell myself.
Girl. Hey, hold on, y'all. I need to unplug and replug real quick. Told you last week that we're having some technical difficulties with these mics. We're going to get them fixed soon, but we record episodes the same day. Not that y'all need to know any of that. That's a little bit of unnecessary information. Just one sec. And we're back. You like how that sounds? Sounds much better.
I love it.
So he came and he was there and he was like, hey, let me get this 10K. And the police was like, we gonna give you these darn handcuffs. Okay?
Clink.
All right. So there was another man by the name of Alejandro Hernandez, and he drove the kind of car that the other witness described, which was the Pontiac Bonneville. So he and Cruz, they had crossed paths a few times, but they were just associates. Still, police connected the two men together, and they became the official suspects of the crime.
Because they originally said they saw one person, and all of a sudden it was two.
Now it's two. So now in May of 1984, there's a young man by the name of Stephen Buckley. Now he is not Hispanic. He is Caucasian. And he had been arrested on charges of theft and disorderly conduct in Aurora, Illinois. And that's only about 10 miles west of Naperville.
We have friends that live in Aurora.
Oh, cool. Shout out to the friends in Aurora.
And Aurora.
And remember that boot print I mentioned? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it seems that the boot print matched a pair of boots that Stephen Buckley owned. Well, slam dunk, right? Well.
No, they did not MJ this.
Rolando Cruz, Alejandro Hernandez, and Stephen Buckley together went into the Nicarico home in order to savagely beat and sexually assault little Jeanine. That's what the police said.
I was going to say, is that what the story that they made up?
That's what the police said. But you know who also said it? Cruz, Hernandez, and Buckley themselves confessed to the murder of Jeanine Nicarico. They confessed. After more than 30 hours of interrogation.
Well, I would confess too. I'm hungry. I got to pee. I'm ready to go home. No, I wouldn't
being
confess.
hit in the face
so you're being tortured?
After being punched in the stomach by detectives, Rolando Cruz admitted to taking part in the crime.
Oh my God.
Now, some other things that happened that caused Alejandro and Steven to confess were that the men were being told that there was physical evidence linking them to the crime and that they were facing the death penalty. Whereas if they confessed, maybe they won't get the death penalty. They were also being consistently intimidated with just doors being slammed, police banging on the desk, getting up in their face.
It be the tactics. My thing, so I don't understand why people that are, so if you get into law enforcement, a lot of the times when people say they get into law enforcement, it's because they want to help people. They want to help people,
right,
and they want to protect people,
right.
But you have to think of both sides. Yes, you want to help anyone that becomes a victim,
yeah,
but you also want to help make sure that the right person,
period, innocent until proven guilty, period.
You're not going to torture me. I don't understand it. Like, even when I watch First 48 and they're like, no, because you did it. Sir, maybe I know the person that did it, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I understand some people lie, but it's like, but if you go back and look at evidence and the evidence is saying XYZ matches XYZ, why are you like, oh no, this XYZ gotta match up to LMNOP? It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
It matches. How?
Well, speaking of matches, that blueprint wasn't really a match.
That
blueprint was not a match. Police just wanted to quickly pin somebody for the crime, and that's what they did.
It was an air kick that time.
Air kick.
And I made sure to use all of my buttocks to stretch and extend.
She sure did.
And I held it.
So, y'all, so we go to trial. All three men at trial recant their confessions. And they were citing that they were coerced into making these false statements. But the prosecution decides to forge ahead with their evidence against the men, the witness testimonies, which were also given under police pressure at that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they feel like that is the best way.
Girl. So they enter hair and fiber evidence from Rolando's car and said it linked him to the crime scene. That was determined to be a lie.
Whose hair did they have?
I don't know. It wasn't Janine's.
Random ass hair. They probably plucked it out of their own head and said, oh, a hair.
Okay. Oh, this hair is brown. That's the same hair color that Jeanine had. Let's like that.
I feel like evidence such as hair, because some like, I don't know the science behind hair, but I know what I've seen on detective shows. When they pull up hair, it's really just like, oh, is this a fiber or is this a hair? And it pretty much matches. How do you know?
Right.
Because I might be wearing a wig.
Right. Right. So, come on. Well, also, blood type testing was performed on blood samples found on Jeanine Nicarico's clothing. And the blood type was determined to be type B, which is the same blood type as Alejandro Hernandez. However, blood type evidence is not as reliable as DNA evidence. And it can only indicate the possibility of a match. Okay? Not a definitive match. So, I mean, is that even, that's circumstantial.
They're making me so mad
All
that
right.
my lips have squeezed up.
Well, girl, get ready to pucker up some more. Because listen, at one point, 2 detectives testified that during an interview on May 9th, 1983, Rolando had told them that he had a vision about the Nicarico murder. And he allegedly told them that Jeanine's nose had been broken, that she had been hit in the head so hard that a depression was left in the ground where her body was found, that she had been sodomized, and that she had been left in a farmer's field. All details from the crime that had not been made public.
So they made up. This was...
Now they're trying to make Rolando a psychic.
Right, that's what I'm like. So they trying to make him... And how all of a sudden...
That's so Rolando instead of that's so Raven.
That's a good one. How all of a sudden do they believe psychics when anybody else that come forth like, I had a vision of love? How you don't believe them with the vision of love,
right?
But you just gonna
right.
Who is behind the storytelling
Come
of
on.
the lies?
Come on.
Who is behind this?
Girl.
Because
I don't know.
They are literally reading and picking stories from the Cat in the Hat.
Okay, yeah. So, of course, Rolando was like, I did not make no such statement. There was no police record of it. And it had not been mentioned during the indictment hearing 3 years earlier. So now this is new. Well, we forgot to tell you guys.
Girl.
Our slam dunk. Okay, come on. So that's some bull. It's just lies, okay?
Lies.
So you have a weak and largely circumstantial case presented by the prosecution. Well, the jury deliberates about a total of 11 hours over several days and come back with a guilty verdict for Cruz and Hernandez. All right. And they recommend the death penalty for them. But interestingly enough, Stephen Buckley, we're deadlocked. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the type to do that. His boot print, we don't, I mean, they said it was his boot print, but we don't know. He
So how
but
so
the two Hispanics would.
Okay. So y'all don't.
That's what it's telling me. And like I said in the beginning,
it's giving
guys,
racist.
We getting into some things.
It's giving racist because first and foremost,
how do you
did y'all
deadlock?
even...
They are on trial together. How do
Right.
you deadlock on one person?
But the other two gotta be.
And they deserve death.
They the ones that are so guilty. But that one man, his skin is a little lighter and his hair is a little bit more flowier and his eyes are a little bit more bluer. And I don't think that the person that looks like the vision of an angel could do something like that.
Yeah.
You guys are literally living in a world that makes absolutely no sense because what?
So, like when the jury deadlocks, that often is just the predecessor for a new trial with a new jury. No, they just was like, we deadlocked. Okay, we're not going to try him anymore. We're just going to leave that one alone.
So essentially, they let their, what is it?
We're going to have to say allegedly because we don't know what the darn jurors were thinking, but it's just interesting.
I don't want to say alleged because, ooh,
okay,
I want to air punch so hard.
Okay,
I'm going to do it.
She said, well, let's just keep it going. We know what it is. Let's just keep it going. So in November of 1985, there was a man by the name of Brian Dugan. And he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without parole for 2 unrelated rapes and murders. And he was a serial rapist. And the convictions were for a 7-year-old Melissa Ackerman and a 27-year-old Donna Schnorr. So we already know his range is wide.
Okay.
He young and old. He don't care.
He don't care.
Well, guess what? First of all, this really gets me. He pleaded guilty so that he could evade the death penalty. You are so okay with taking lives.
But you don't want to. Please don't send me to the needle or the electric chair.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Don't kill me. I got so much life left to live. Yeah, they did too. And you decided that they didn't have enough life left to live. So you were going to take it.
Ain't the biggest putty tat I have ever seen.
Come on, putty tat.
You want to take life, but you can't let your life be taken. That's bull crap. If you can dish it, you need to be able to take it.
You need to be able to take it served hot or cold.
It just pisses me off. So, yeah. So he trying not to get the death penalty. Well, guess what? In the middle of this whole, his conviction and all that, he confessed to the rape and murder of Jeanine Nicarico.
Was it brought up, or did he just like...
He was just like...
let me confess.
Yes. He just wanted to, help make his case better. He wanted to, because they're like, if you've done this to others, we need that information. And, that might be able to help you. How they make deals.
Did his confession require any kind of like punches to the face for him to be...
Girl, nah.
Did they slam doors or like hit the desk or anything?
Girl, nah. They had a nice little conversation, and he sent
they
up
gave
there
him like a cup of coffee.
Oh,
too.
I'm pretty sure some donuts and some coffee and some chips and some soda and all of that. So he was given details about the case that no one else in the public should have known, unlike when those detectives said that that's what Rolando Cruz did. All right. And they lied under oath and said that.
I feel like so the whole thing with lying under oath, they make it seem like it's such a horrible, like you gonna get punished.
Oh, they make it sound
but them
scary.
cops they can get up there. Them mother effers could get up there and lie, make up the lie as they lied some more. And forget that they lied and then tell a little bit of the truth, but then lie again. And the judge be knowing, the jurors be knowing, the prosecutors be knowing, everybody be knowing, even the people that's getting charged, everybody know. They be knowing.
Yeah.
In the words of Amanda Seals, she always say, I be knowing. We gonna say they be knowing. They be knowing, and nobody gets punished for lying on the stand.
Yeah,
nobody.
Yeah,
you're literally up there lying, and you know that it's just gonna be like, they know we're just trying to get body in the prison.
Yep. Yeah. So
preferably one that's brown.
Girl. So Rolando Cruz and Alejandro Hernandez, due to this new information, of course, both appealed their conviction.
As they should.
And they were able to cite also a prosecutorial error that, would allow for them to get new trials. Their convictions were overturned on January 19th, 1989. And this just allowed them to get a second trial. The prosecution this time decided to try them separately, even though they had accepted Brian Dugan's confession. They just
why wouldn't they just throw it out?
So listen. They're like, okay, you did it, Brian, but you didn't act alone. You had 2 Hispanic men help you, and that is the story, okay?
If I were goo, if I could transform into goo, I would literally do it right now and stain the couch. Because that is... I kind of feel like from all of our research of all of the stories that we've ever done, or even looking at like serial killer true crime shows or whatever, a lot of the times those serial killers just want to be known, but they want all the because it's a very narcissistic, selfish behavior. So if you take, in the words of them, my work, and you say somebody else help me, Dugan,
Brian Dugan,
come back out and be like,
no, that was He was
everything me.
He was like, I don't even know them, and they were like, no, that's impossible. That's impossible. There's no way that you would do that.
It's like pride.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing of ego and pride.
Yes.
Let it go. If you were wrong, you were wrong, and admit to being wrong and be fine with being wrong. Oops, we made a mistake. We apologize for this mistake. We got the right person. So Jeanine finally has justice because the right person is behind bars.
They didn't. That's not how they wanted it to go. The prosecution said that there were 2 shoe prints under a window at the Nicarico home that belonged to Alejandro or Rolando. One of them. That was one of them. Okay.
Did they even bring up a shoe print belonging to Dugan?
No.
Of course, yeah. Because it just had to be
and listen to this. It had to be one of them. And listen, so a crime lab technician for the DuPage County Sheriff's Office, his name was Paul Size. He told the prosecutors that the prints were actually made by a woman's shoe around size 6. So it couldn't have been either man's shoe prints. And what did the prosecution do? It was like, oh no, we ain't trying to hear that. So,
but it's clearly a woman that lives in the house that's possibly a size 6 shoe.
We ain't trying to hear that. So what we gonna do is we gonna put you on the stand and we gonna ask you everything but the shoe print question. Yeah.
I tell you what, anybody that is a prosecuting attorney and they're needed. We need prosecuting attorneys.
Yeah.
But if you are a prosecuting attorney and you are representing crookedly, I hope that you live a life of hell.
Seriously, like, how can you be okay with yourself? How can you look at yourself in the mirror? They were eagle eyes zoned in on these 2 Hispanic men, and that they were willing to just give up evidence. They did not share that information of it being a woman's shoe print with the defense, which is illegal.
Right.
They were like, we gonna get these no matter what. That's it. That's all. Okay. Now I'm getting pissed off.
Ugh. So my arms have folded so hard, my arm creases hurt.
Turn inside out.
I'm about to turn pink over here.
So they just withheld this information altogether, and for this reason, Rolando Cruz was convicted again of the murder of Jeanine Nicarico.
When somebody else confessed to it.
And again sentenced to death.
What in the world?
Of 1990.
Are people just this incompetent? Why are we paying our hard-earned tax dollars,
ma'am, when they
to stuff like this?
Somebody to go down, they gonna take them down.
Ooh, and the consequence and karma is gonna come back and bite them in the ass so hard.
Okay, so then they go to Alejandro Hernandez's trial, and his second trial ended in a hung jury. Well, prosecution was like, no, we got to get this ninja. We got to get him. So there was a third trial.
Oh my God, what was the family saying?
It's exhausting.
Like, what was the family saying? Like,
you know, they were tired of going through it. You know, they were tired.
Because
I'd
be like, look, I don't even, because the one man confessed and he was giving some details. So I think it's him. So I need y'all to stop and get this. Like, is it that they feel like the cases are going to make them more money, make them more popular? Like, is this going to be something that's just like
I
change
feel like
their career?
it was like they were just like, we not finna admit no wrongdoing.
That's exactly what it was.
Period.
I'm not saying that I was wrong. I wasn't wrong about nothing.
Period.
Yes, you were. And some people have their bad days. No one is perfect. Everyone has to experience a bad day.
Yeah.
And it might be a little embarrassing and maybe, but just how about be better at your job?
I would just be like, look, at the press conference, look, we don't always get it right. And if y'all think that we should always get it right, then y'all think that we're not human.
Right.
We apologize to Rolando Cruz. We apologize to Alejandro Hernandez. We don't need to... We apologize to Stephen Buckley for... that short amount of time where we gave him hell.
Yeah.
So, because my blood pressure is up.
Mine is too.
Yeah, there was a third trial for Alejandro, and they found him guilty again. But instead of the death penalty, this time he was sentenced to 80 years in prison. And when you know you didn't do something, then you're going to keep fighting to prove your innocence. So Rolando Cruz appealed again in December of 1992. There was an assistant state's attorney general named Mary Bridget Kinney, and she was assigned to defend against the Cruz appeal. When she took a look at all the information, she sent a memo to the attorney general, Roland Burris, and she was like, dude, this case has so many holes in it. This case has so many holes in it.
And that right there is what you call a prosecuting attorney.
Right.
Because I'm not going to put my competence on the line for a lie because y'all don't want to look into the... That's why so many cases out here that are unsolved. Yeah. Because prosecuting attorneys and cops are all working together and everybody have their hand in the pot. I just kind of feel like whenever a murder case happens, it's literally like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. This is a puzzle, and we have to look at all of the pieces. There may be some missing pieces, but it can still create a whole picture. But we have to look at every single piece that is available and make competent decisions and choices and put all of this stuff together to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Not like the analogy that I did, XYZ matches up to LMNOP.
Right.
Because it does not.
Yeah.
2 + 2 does not equal 22.
Yeah. So she told Roland, she was like, there was perjured testimony. There's fraudulent investigations. This is not right. Yeah. So Roland Burris, he didn't want to hear it.
Of course. Yeah, he did.
He was like, I don't care. We're going to uphold the jury's convictions. But thankfully, somebody in this entire process had a conscience, because Mary Kinney, she was like, well, then fine, I resign. I'm not putting nobody in jail that ain't supposed to be there.
That ain't supposed to be there.
I'm not doing that.
Because that don't make sense.
I'm not doing that.
Because then your killer, because you so busy trying to sit up and convict these people, your killer is like, oh, dang, this is my opportunity to go do it again.
Hurry up and get on video, because she just...
my hand wave. It makes me think as we was watching Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. We was watching that last night, and the part where the white man came in when Lope Dog and Ashtray went into the convenience store and he stole the money, and then he shot and killed the convenience store owners and then scratched off Lope Dog. And they was like, the man, that's what this is. They literally was trying to hurry up and buy them poor men into the prison.
Yeah.
Hurry up and buy. So
she was like, I'm not doing it. Now, in 1994, Cruz's conviction was overturned yet again, and he was granted a third trial. And
Man, I would just be sick. I was like,
I
can I
know
do it through
tired.
Skype?
I'm tired of talking
Look,
about it.
And Skype ain't even available at this time. Like, can I Skype in?
I'm tired, okay? Yeah. So during the trial, the sheriff's lieutenant who had lied under oath the first time
he should
around,
be in prison and not be in that position no more.
Well, this time he recanted his statement and admitted that he had lied under oath, probably because he was able to admit under immunity that he had lied under oath.
Boy, they got so much immunity. They need to share some of it with the people so that we can not get COVID, okay?
Yeah.
Because their immunity protects them from COVID, the flu, HIV,
prison,
from prison, life.
Yeah.
Grocery store bills, gas. Like, it just, they have so much immunity.
Yeah.
Can I get some of that?
Okay.
Can I buy some?
Well, guess what though? He also said that the DNA tests that they were able to do with the upgrade in technology, because now we in the 90s, we in the middle of the 90s, ended up showing that Rolando Cruz and Hernandez's DNA was not a match to the collected semen found at the crime scene. Whose DNA did it match? Brian Dugan, who said he did it all along by himself, and he told them motherfuckers that he did not know.
They were probably like, we didn't know. Oh.
Right.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. This is just...
And that was when Dugan had confessed 10 years earlier. 10 years, guys.
They literally, Dugan could have been still out raping and killing people. And they would have been like, this still has no connection to this.
Whew, so finally, because I'm telling you, I feel like I just ran a marathon.
I do too. I'm dizzy.
So finally, on November 3rd, 1995, a DuPage County judge acquitted Rolando Cruz on the basis of the recanted testimony, the DNA evidence, and the lack of any substantiated evidence against him. And in December of 1995, the charges against Hernandez, who had been serving time in prison, were dismissed by the state's attorney. The prosecution was foul. They were so foul. They were just...
Let me tell you something. My name would have been...
dirty, bro.
My name would have been Susan, because I would have been suing.
Listen. So, when they couldn't bury those two men any further, then and only then did they apologize to them for the wrongful convictions and the years that they had to spend on death row for something they did not do. Both men did receive well-deserved financial settlements from the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm. I hope it was in the 7-figure mark.
It has to be, okay? And this case helped them bring attention to the issue of wrongful convictions, and the need for criminal justice reform. Now, the last we heard in September of 2021, both Alejandro Hernandez and Rolando Cruz have been living private lives.
As they should.
And keeping a low profile since their traumatic experience. However, after their release from prison, they did become advocates for criminal justice reform.
Yep.
And spoke out against the corruption in the justice system. And Jeanine Nicarico and her family finally got closure by the right person and being in jail for the murder. Because it's not justice if the wrong person is in jail for something.
Because the real person could have still been left out and harmed other people.
This is this has to go up in the top of a list of just some straight up wrong doing against a person by the criminal justice system.
And they didn't even care about it. They did not care about.
They seriously said, we are going to get you, and that's just it, and that's just all,
and that's that, and you ain't gonna have no fit. And that is crazy, because that's the level of regard or disregard for human life. Like, it's bad enough we're already looking at a case where someone had just disregarded this little girl's life.
And you know what?
And then the prosecution, the prosecuting attorney and the cops that were all involved in the lies, the detectives all involved in the lies.
You're doing I would have been suing like they was trying to convict me wrongfully, because I've been like, y'all did not care about my daughter whatsoever. Enough. Y'all cared about these getting two people.
They cared about their check. They cared about their, like you said, their immunity. They cared about their reputation.
You cared about getting two people more than you cared about getting the right person one for my child's death. You need to pay for that, and you need to pay with your job.
Yep.
3 trials? Do you know how much money that is?
A lot that I don't want to pay for as a taxpayer. I got to pay for it.
My God.
It's stupid. People let their egos and their hate and their uneducated experiences, I guess. They let all of that cloud what the truth was.
Oh yeah,
they let all of that cloud what the truth was. And then on top of that, because they wanted to save face, when the right person, when the real person that was the criminal that did the crime came out and said, no, it was me all along, they were like, that's not gonna look good on the resume. Let's go ahead and not say that it was you, but it was you, because we're still going to convict you, because we still need that body in the prison.
And shout out to that lady that was like, not convicting an innocent person is more important than my job.
Right. Because that's the thing. My thing is,
you playing with people's lives.
You are playing with people's lives. And if I spend all that money to go to law school because I want to help people and make sure the truth gets out, I'm not risking my law degree and my student loans for that law degree. I hope
she is a judge today based off of that decision, because she understood the assignment.
Right. She understood it. I'm not going to go out there and risk my certifications and my degrees and all the hours and pain and sweat and tears that she had to put in to get that degree. I'm not risking that because you want to put people in jail.
I hope those jurors who, the first time around was like, them two, not him. And when they found out they was innocent, I hope they felt so much regret and I hope they felt bad as a motherfucker.
Let me tell you something. My first time being on a jury, doing the jury duty, it was a young black man who was caught with crack on him, crack rocks. And they arrested him because it was a big rock and he had like some other little rocks, but they arrested him because they said he was intending to distribute. So, yes, he's a black man. I am a black woman, and I don't want innocent people going to prison. But it's like, if he had that on him, and
then he was not innocent.
He wasn't innocent. So, do I want him to get like life in prison? No. Should he get maybe a year? Yeah. And that's that on that. Mm-hmm. Do your year, come out. Hopefully you didn't learn something. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you didn't learn something. But there were people that were in that room when we were trying to deliberate and figure out the innocence or the guilty whatever of this young man. There was one lady in there who was like, I can't do that because if I'm a mother and I have boys, and if that was my son, I wouldn't want nobody. Girl, shut up. Shut up.
She should have never even been selected to be juror on that case then, because my thing is, there should never, people say all the time, people say, I don't see color. Yes, you should see color in everyday life and embrace it and whatever like that. But when it comes to the criminal system, do not see color. No. I would not be seeing color. If he had the crack,
non-biased.
If he had the crack and he the same color as me, He did it. That's
right.
unfortunate.
Right.
He did it.
Right.
So he got to pay the price.
Right. Especially if looking at his history, knowing that he's gotten in trouble for drug possession before, I'm not going to be like, no, because he learned his lesson the last time. No, obviously he didn't, because he had crack rocks in his dang on pocket. Sus. Yeah, so if you do the crime, you got to do the time. And as a person on any jury, make sure that you're not going into it you have to go into it really with no biases.
Yeah.
That's not your son. Yeah, you might have boys at home, but how about
make sure you raise them so that won't be your son. Period. Right. And that's it. That's all.
Period, point blank, and the period. Even if I were a white woman and I was on a jury with a white man that killed somebody, I'm not going to be like, I have white sons or I have sons at home. And no, if you do the crime, you do the time.
And that's it. And if you didn't do the crime, then you don't do the time, and I'm not going to convict you just because you seem like a person that would do it, because I have my prejudices and biases in my head.
Right. Because I'm not going to read off stereotypes or live off stereotypes because they this way and that. No. Because that's how things get misconstrued. That's how innocent people go to prison, because stereotypes. They've been doing it for 10
years of their lives taken away.
And they kept saying, we didn't do it. And thank God that they weren't just like, man, I guess I'm just going to be in here. So
because
let
some
me stop
people
fighting.
just give up.
They'll just give up, because that is frustrating.
Yeah.
You know you didn't do something, and then somebody is like, no, but you did. No, but you did. No, but you did. That's why even when I discipline my children, if my daughter's like, but mommy, I didn't do it, then I listen. Okay, well, what is it that you did do? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to just make you guilty because somebody else said that you did it. Like it pisses me off. And if I had the patience to go back to school to do, something in law or, help some kind of way, I would, but I ain't got the patience to do that. So the people that do it and they do it right. God bless you.
Right.
God bless you. The people that are going into the legal field, the people that are coming out of high school, going into college, going into law school and all these things, the people that are going into the field and intending on working in that field and doing it fairly, God bless you. Mm-hmm. But those that are like, no, because I'm just in it for the money. I don't care who I represent. Better be careful.
May God uproot you very quickly.
Okay. You better be careful. You better be careful on what you do, because just because it's quote unquote legal for you to do certain things because of who you are, the type of position, that doesn't make you, your job doesn't make you who you are. So if you're disrespecting people and disregarding their lives and their innocence, and you're not listening to people, that is gonna come back and bite you so hard in the ass, it's gonna look like you ain't gonna have no butt cheeks. Because life is going to bite you so hard in the ass. And I don't care how much money you got.
How can you be? That's all I just keep thinking is, how can you be okay with yourself for that? But guys, this was a heavy one. This was a heavy and my darn whatchamacallit would start acting up at the end. But we want to know what you guys think.
Right.
Definitely about this. If you disagree with us, if you agree, please reach out to us and let us know what you think. You can hit us up at our email address, which is
thenosyhenspodcast.com
at gmail.com.
Oh, at gmail.com. I'm sorry. Oops.
Well, we don't have the website just yet.
Right. We'll work on it. We're working on that.
Sorry. And then on our socials at
The Nosy Hens Podcast.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. So thank you for tuning into this. This was a heavy one. I gotta breathe.
Yeah, I did too.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff.
Yes, share with friends and family.
Yeah.
Yes, we love you guys. We appreciate you for tuning in with us every week.
And y'all
be safe out there, stinker butts.
All right.